Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a time where every man wants to succeed, yet few are willing to submit to the price success demands. Everybody speaks of the destination, but almost no one is ready to endure the road. Today, I speak not to entertain you, but to provoke you. I speak not to inspire you, but to awaken something buried deep within your soul, because buried in you is greatness, suffocated by comfort, killed daily by excuses. The difference between those who rise and those who rot is not luck, it is not chance, it is not who they know. It is one rule, one unbreakable law that separates the remembered from the forgotten. And if you have ears to hear and the courage to act, what you are about to hear may very well change the course of your life. They will tell you success is a matter of luck. They will whisper that some people were simply born to rise while others were doomed to crawl. But I have lived long enough to tell you that success is not a matter of chance, it is a matter of discipline. Discipline is the one rule, the one law, the one unshakable principle that determines whether a man remains ordinary or becomes extraordinary. Discipline is the master key that unlocks every door standing between you and your destiny. In a world where everyone wants to succeed overnight, discipline demands you stay committed for years. When others are sleeping, discipline commands you to wake up. When others are scrolling endlessly on their phones, discipline instructs you to study, to build, to prepare. While they seek pleasure, you seek purpose, and make no mistake, the journey of discipline is lonely. It is quiet, it does not clap for you, it does not applaud you, it simply watches you, and in time it rewards you. A man with discipline does not wait for the perfect mood to act, he acts regardless of the mood. Because feelings do not build empires, habits do. The world is full of talented failures, men and women with great ideas, great potential, but no discipline to follow through. They start, but they never finish. They dream, but they never build. They speak, but their actions are mute. Because talent may start the race, but only discipline crosses the finish line. Look around you. The most successful people in any field are not always the most gifted, they are the most consistent. They are the ones who show up every single day, whether the world is watching or not. Discipline is the quiet engine behind every public victory. It is what you do in the dark that determines what will shine in the light. But today, too many people want to shine without sweating. They want the crown without the cross, the stage without the silence. Discipline is not just about waking up early. It is about saying no when your body says yes. It is about choosing focus when the world offers distraction. It is about delaying gratification, choosing the long-term reward over the short-term pleasure. And let me tell you this, every time you say no to laziness, you are saying yes to your future. Every time you refuse to quit, you are investing in the man or woman you are becoming. Success does not come to visit those who wait for it, it lives with those who discipline their steps daily. The problem with many in our generation is we want comfort and greatness to coexist. But discipline does not consult your comfort. It breaks you, it bends you, it burns you. But in the fire of that discipline, your character is forged. In the pressure of that discipline, your identity is formed. The athlete who trains when no one watches. The student who studies when friends mock him. The entrepreneur who builds through failure after failure. These are the ones who rise because they understand that without discipline, dreams are nothing but hallucinations. Success is not accidental, it is not magical, it is mathematical. You sow discipline, you reap excellence. You sow laziness, you reap mediocrity. The world may not tell you this truth because it wants you entertained, distracted, and weak. But the truth is this: no one becomes powerful by accident. Power is born of discipline. Greatness is born of sacrifice. And legacy is written by those who were willing to bleed privately so they could shine publicly. There will be days when discipline feels like prison. Days when the alarm rings and your body begs you to sleep. Days when everyone around you is celebrating and you are grinding in silence. But if you endure, if you refuse to be moved, one day the very people who mocked your commitment will celebrate your success, and they will call you lucky, not knowing the price you paid in the currency of discipline. They often say, I am not feeling motivated. But let me tell you, motivation is a liar. It will whisper in your ear today and abandon you tomorrow. Motivation is a guest. It visits without warning and leaves without notice. But consistency is a resident. It moves in and refuses to leave. If you are waiting for motivation to move your feet, you will remain stuck where you are for the rest of your life. Because those who achieve success are not the ones who feel like it every day, they are the ones who act, whether they feel like it or not. Consistency is louder than motivation. Consistency builds the life you dream of, while motivation just flatters you with emotion. You see, success does not recognize emotion. It does not care if you're tired. It does not pity your bad days. Success listens to movement. It honors the ones who show up daily, not those who occasionally shine. The farmer who sows every season, even when the clouds hide the sun, he is the one who will harvest. The builder who lays bricks day after day, even when his hands tremble, he is the one who will complete the house. It is the rhythm of repetition, the unbroken chain of action, the daily commitment to your craft, your dream, your goal, that is what brings success. The tragedy of this generation is not lack of talent, it is the addiction to motivation. We watch a video and feel inspired, we read a quote and feel empowered, but the next day we go back to sleep on our goal. Because we confuse inspiration with transformation, but inspiration without consistent action is deception. It makes you feel as if you're moving when in fact you are only dreaming. The world will clap for your intentions, but only reward your execution. And execution requires consistency. Consistency is not exciting, it is not glamorous, it does not go viral, but it wins. While others are chasing excitement, the consistent are chasing excellence. They do not rise and fall like waves, they move like a current, steady, strong, and unstoppable. Even on bad days, even when no one is watching, even when there's no applause, they keep going. They keep writing, they keep building, they keep showing up, because they understand that it is not what you do once that changes your life, but what you do every day without fail. Every great man or woman you admire became who they are through consistency. The musician practiced when no one knew his name. The speaker spoke in empty rooms before crowds ever applauded. The athlete trained in the shadows before the medals came. They were not chasing motivation, they were walking in discipline and consistency. They did not wait to feel ready, they prepared themselves until they were unshakable. That is what you must become, unshakable. Immovable, consistent in your walk, firm in your focus, and relentless in your routine. You must be faithful to your process even when results are silent. Because consistency is about trust, trusting that your effort will echo into your future, trusting that even when no one sees the work is still working. Success is like planting a seed, you water it every day. You check it every morning, days pass, weeks pass, and there's no sign. But one day it breaks the ground and begins to grow. And it grows because of the days you showed up when nothing was visible. That is the power of consistency. It compounds silently until it explodes visibly, but the inconsistent man is a slave to emotion. He starts strong but fades, he talks big but acts small. He is moved by his feelings, not his vision. He waits for the right time, the right energy, the right weather, but time waits for no one. Vision requires action, and action must be daily. There is no shortcut, no weekend seminar, no fast lane to greatness, only the long, quiet road of consistency. So I ask you, will you choose the hard road of daily discipline, or will you float on the winds of fleeting motivation? Will you be like the wave that crashes and disappears, or like the river that carves through rock with relentless flow? If you want to change your life, do not shout it. Prove it every day. Small steps done daily will take you farther than giant leaps done rarely. The power is not in what you do occasionally. The power is in what you do consistently. That is the one rule the great never break. They told you success was beautiful. They showed you the mansions, the cars, the applause. but they never showed you the sacrifices. They never told you that greatness demands separation, that to rise you must leave some things behind and some people too. Because the truth, whether you accept it or not, is this: there is no elevation without sacrifice. There is no greatness without giving something up. If you want to fly, you must let go of the weight, and the greatest weight most people carry is comfort. Comfort is the enemy of progress. It keeps you average while convincing you that average is enough. But the man who chooses sacrifice over comfort is the one who becomes a force. He sacrifices sleep for purpose. He sacrifices distraction for discipline. He sacrifices popularity for productivity. Because he understands that what he is becoming is far more important than what he is currently enjoying. Sacrifice is painful, yes, but the pain of sacrifice is temporary. The pain of regret lasts forever. When you study every great man or woman, there's a common thread. At some point, they had to walk alone. At some point, they had to be misunderstood. They had to be mocked. They had to be doubted. But they kept moving, not because the path was easy, but because the purpose was worth it. When others were partying, they were preparing. When others were relaxing, they were rehearsing. And it is that ability to choose long-term reward over short-term pleasure that separates winners from wanderers. But today, we are surrounded by a culture that fears sacrifice. We want quick success, fast results, instant rewards. We want to be exceptional, but we don't want to let go of the ordinary. We want to be wealthy, but we don't want to work in silence. We want impact, but we don't want isolation. My brother, my sister, it does not work like that. Sacrifice is the down payment for greatness. If you are not willing to pay, you do not qualify. You must be willing to lose friends to find your focus. You must be willing to turn off the noise to hear your calling. You must be willing to walk alone so that one day the world will walk to you. Do not expect applause for your sacrifices. Do not expect validation for your isolation. Most of your sacrifice will be unseen, but it will not be unrewarded, because success is not public. It is private. It is paid for in the dark, in the silence, in the early mornings and late nights that nobody sees. Many people ask, why haven't I succeeded yet? But the better question is, what are you willing to give up to succeed? Because your level of sacrifice will always match your level of success. Some want the throne but fear the thorn. Some want the glory but flee the grind. But those who are remembered long after they are gone, they are the ones who laid their comfort on the altar of purpose and said, "Take it all, if only I may rise." There is something inside you, a dream, a calling, a vision, and it is too heavy to be carried with baggage. You must drop the distractions. You must sever the toxic ties. You must stop feeding your fears. Because every second you waste is a second stolen from your future. Every excuse you protect is a brick in the wall blocking your progress. You cannot climb while clinging. You cannot soar while settling. Let it go. Burn the bridges behind you. Burn the plan B. Sacrifice is not a loss. It is an investment in the future version of yourself. When you sacrifice for your purpose, you begin to transform. You begin to move differently. Speak differently. Live differently. You stop asking for permission. You stop waiting for approval. You start walking like someone who knows that destiny doesn't respond to the casual. It only answers to the committed. And commitment without sacrifice is nothing but noise. If it doesn't cost you, it cannot change you. So I ask you now, what are you willing to give up for what you say you want? Are you willing to suffer privately so that you can succeed publicly? Are you willing to sacrifice who you are for who you must become? Because if you are not, then the dream you claim to chase is a lie. But if you are, then you have already begun the journey that separates legends from spectators. The road will be lonely, but the view from the top will silence every doubt. The world will not believe in you until you believe in yourself. That is the rule, that is the law, that is the line that separates the man who conquers from the one who merely complains. You can have all the knowledge, all the skill, all the opportunity, but if you do not possess belief deep, unshakable, firing, your bones belief, then you are already defeated before the battle begins. Belief is the fuel, belief is the oxygen, belief is the invisible force that drives visible impact. Without it, your vision is just a hallucination. You see, belief is not about arrogance. It is not about pretending to be something you're not. Belief is knowing, even when no one else sees it, that what is within you is greater than what is around you. It is the inner voice that whispers, "You can," while the world screams, "You won't." It is the internal fire that keeps burning even when the wind of failure tries to put it out. And this belief is not something you borrow, it must come from within. If you rely on others to believe in you before you move, you will wait forever, because people only believe in results, but belief sees the result before it happens. You must become your own prophet. You must see the finish line before you even begin. You must walk like it's already yours, speak like the victory is done, work like your name is already etched in the walls of history. Because belief is not passive. Belief moves your feet. Belief pushes your hands. Belief makes you wake up when you're tired and keep going when you're broke. Belief gives power to discipline. Belief gives strength to consistency. Belief gives meaning to sacrifice. Without belief, even discipline becomes empty. Without belief, consistency fades. Without belief, sacrifice becomes unbearable. But when you believe, everything becomes fuel. There will be moments, many moments, when the world will mock your belief. They will call it delusion. They will call it pride. But let them speak, because the same mouths that mock belief in the beginning will marvel at its manifestation in the end. You must be willing to look crazy for a season to look legendary for a lifetime. The path of belief is narrow. It is not crowded, but it leads to places that the unbelieving never reach. And make no mistake, belief is not just for when things are good. True belief is tested in the dark. It is tested in the valley. It is tested when the bank account is empty, when the doors are closed, when the phone doesn't ring. That is when belief matters most. Can you still believe when the results are silent? Can you still believe when everyone walks away? Because if your belief is only strong when things are easy, it is not belief, it is convenience. The difference between winners and the rest is not the size of their problem, but the strength of their belief. Two people can face the same storm. One will sink, the other will sail. Why? Because one allowed fear to rule, the other allowed belief to lead. And belief does not deny reality, it simply declares that reality does not have the final say. It says, yes, I see the facts, but I still choose to rise. That kind of belief shakes mountains. That kind of belief makes history. You must protect your belief like treasure. Feed it with truth. Surround it with vision. Guard it against doubt, because doubt is a thief. It does not steal all at once. It chips away slowly, silently. It begins with small thoughts. What if I fail? What if I'm not enough? But belief must rise and respond. What if I succeed? What if I'm more than I think I am? Your mind is a battlefield, and belief is your weapon. You must choose every day to fight for your future. Choose every day to silence the voice of fear with the roar of faith. Let them say you are too bold. Let them say your dreams are too big, but never let them say you didn't believe, because belief is the seed of every miracle. It is the foundation of every transformation. Before the invention, the idea must be believed. Before the victory, the fight must be believed. Before the change, the process must be believed. Everything great begins in the mind of one man or one woman who dared to believe when everyone else stayed silent.